Hey there, welcome to Violet's DIY Style. My name is Violet. If you're new to my channel, I hope you consider subscribing. We'd love to have you join us every Wednesday and Sunday. So today's tutorial, what I'm going to be sharing with you is some farmhouse rustic fall decor pieces using Dollar Tree items. The first piece we're going to be making is the needle and thread. What you're going to need is one of these hummingbird feeders, and basically just remove the flowers from the bottom part of the feeder. You're also going to remove the container itself, and then we're going to remove the S hook on top of the lid. Now go ahead and get some sharp scissors and cut the top little hook part, and just go ahead and cut that off. And then we're going to paint it, and I'm going to paint it since I wanted a more of a kind of a rustic farmhouse style look. I went ahead and painted it with some apple barrel chocolate brown paint, and I gave it 2 coats each. So basically just go ahead and paint it 1 coat, an even coat, and then just go ahead and set it aside and allow it to dry. Now I saw something similar to this on Wayfair website, and I thought, oh, that's so cute, you know, I wish I could make that. And when I noticed and saw this bird feeder in my little stockpile that I have, I thought, wow, I can make it out of this. So that's how I got my idea from that one website. Of course there's this metal, but I just went ahead and made it my own and made it with the things and the items that I had at home. So once you're done painting the bottom part, go ahead and grab your top lid part and paint it the same color. And then I'm making this more for a fall decor piece, but I can see myself having this out all year round as well. Basically, you can just do it like I did and just add a bird on the top, or if you want it more fall decor theme style, you can easily put a pumpkin on top and it would look adorable. Once it's all completely dry, what you're going to do is go get ahead and get one of these floating foams. And as you can see, I just cut mine to make it a little bit smaller. And I tried to glue it with hot glue, but it wouldn't stick. So what I ended up doing was just grabbing some clear tape and wrapping that tape around that foam in order to make it round shape again. But you can use a toilet paper roll or a napkin roll and just cut it to the size that you'd like as well. But this is what I had on hand, so this is what I'm going to use. So I just went ahead and taped the white tape around my little foam part, made sure it was all nice and even, and then I'm going to go ahead and figure out if that's the size I want, and I'm going to grab a piece of one of the little building blocks and go ahead and glue it into the opening of my foam. And I'm going to make sure I leave some of it outside so I can glue it to the bottom of my container as well. Once I've glued it all together, then I went ahead and just decided to give 1 coat of the brown paint onto my foam as well, because I am going to wrap some jute twine around here, but I wanted to make sure that you wouldn't see that blue coming through. So I went ahead and just gave it 1 good coat. Next, I decided to go ahead and give it more of that rustic look by adding some black. So what I'm going to do is kind of dry brush it using the same brush that I used for my brown paint, and just give it a good coat, like a light coat of dry brushing black over my brown paint. Once I was done with that, I grabbed my rag and just wiped it off, and this is how it looks. And I'm going to do the same thing to the top lid as well. So next, what I did was grab my jute twine, and you can use yarn, you can use whatever you like, but I just thought it would look adorable with some jute twine, and just gave it a good double knot on the bottom. And I just cut that extra piece off, and then I just started wrapping the jute twine around my decor piece. So just go ahead and continue wrapping it around as much as you like. You can wrap it around just once, but I went around it a few times just to give it more of that thicker, you know, more yarn on it kind of look. So basically I wrapped it around, I want to say about 2 times, but I kind of just didn't do it even the second time, so it looks like it's wrapped around quite a few times. Then I just added some hot glue to the top to make sure that it stays nice and secure, because I didn't want to knot it at the top part. Then I just cut an extra piece off, made sure that I liked the way it looked, and here is where I'm going to paint the top part the same way I painted the bottom after I glued the top part onto my foam part as well. Then once it was all completely dry, I went ahead and grabbed some of this wiring from Dollar Tree as well. And I just kind of eyeballed it the size that I wanted my needle to be. You can make it longer or shorter. That's basically all up to you. And I just grabbed, I want to say about a 6-inch piece of the wiring. And then on the top part, I'm just going to make the eye of my needle. And I'm just here just checking to see how much goes into that opening where my flowers were at on my bird feeder. So just kind of make an eye at the top by twisting it, and then I'm just checking to make sure that's where I want it, and I'm going to add my hot glue and then insert it in there and hold it until it's dry. Now what I did was I just kind of ran my thread through the needle, and then I hot glued it, twisting it around my needle head. And there you have it. Basically, you're done. But what I did was just cut that extra piece of jute twine from the bottom of my needle. And then I decided to go ahead and just use the same brush with the same colors and give that needle a kind of a rustic old look instead of it being so nice and shiny. But again, that's completely optional. So now what I decided to do was just add a flower to the top of my needle and thread. And I just went ahead and grabbed a piece of greenery and glued that on as well. But like I said, if you want this more fall decor piece, you can add a pumpkin up here and it would look absolutely adorable, or even a cat, anything fall. But my fall is going to be more classier looking, so I went ahead and just added a flower for now. So here's another project that I've shown you I've done before using black, but I wanted to go ahead and show you that I'm making some more in order to match this little white vase that I got at Dollar Tree. So what I did was just basically grab one of these potion jars that had a jute twine with a little skull around it. Just removed that because I had used it for a previous project. Added one of these glass cups on top and then set it aside and allowed it to dry. So I'm trying to mimic the same design or shape of that small little vase that I got at Dollar Tree a few weeks ago. And I was super excited to have purchased 2 of them. So I wanted to kind of make it a set, and I just decided to go ahead and make some more vases. Again, trying to mimic that same design. So here I'm just using one of the small fish bows and one of the longer cylinder vases. Once everything's all nice and dry, I gave it all one coat of white paint. And I try to make it as even as possible, giving it a really good coat and then allowing it to dry. And make sure you allow it to dry because it is glass, and if you paint it and it's not dry and you try to paint it again, basically you're just going to be removing the paint that you brushed on at the first time. You can also spray paint them if you'd like. I just didn't have any white spray paint and I wanted it to be more of that chalk look, so I went ahead and just decided to give it a good coat of paint instead of spray painting it. But I have done it before where I spray paint it first, allow it to dry, and then give it one good coat of chalk paint. It's a lot faster because you don't have to wait. The drying time is a lot shorter, but like I said, I didn't have white spray paint, so I just went ahead and painted it white. And I did this to both of my glass jars. But you can paint these any color. Again, I just wanted it to match the white little vase that I got at Dollar Tree. I absolutely loved it, and I wanted it to display it just as is. I thought it was so pretty. So once you're done painting it once and it's all completely dry, I just made some DIY chalk paint. And if you don't know how I make my own chalk paint, I'll go ahead and make sure I leave a link up here of another tutorial that I basically give you the complete ingredients and measurements of how I make my chalk paint. So go ahead and just paint it one good coat again of your white chalk paint. And since this is the vase that was already white, I went ahead and gave it one coat of my white chalk paint as well so it could have that chalk paint look, so it would match my other two vases. And I just love having vases all over my home, but I like to have them in sets. Unless it's absolutely a huge vase, I'd rather have it in a set of 3 or a set of 2, but I typically have them in sets. So that's why I'm making a set of 3 here, because I wanted to put them on my coffee table. And excuse my hands, I'm a messy painter, but I do my I do the painting coats right, but I always forget to add gloves. So go ahead and just set those aside and allow them to dry. So for our next project, what we use is one of these containers that you can get at Dollar Tree in their little wood section area. And then I grabbed one of these bags of the tree branches, again from Dollar Tree, and just started gluing them onto my little tray here. So just go ahead and continue adding your stems, and these are the medium-sized stems, so they're a little bit longer and thinner, and I just continued gluing them on, making sure they were all even, and making sure also that the bottom part of the stems were all basically in the same area, so it could lay flat on when I flipped it over to set it on my coffee table. So just continue adding all your little stems. And here you can add pumpkins. I'm adding succulents, of course, but I am going to remove some of the succulents once fall comes a little bit closer, and I'm going to add some pumpkins into here as well. So that's why I'm calling this tutorial Fall Decor, because these are pieces that I am going to incorporate into my fall decor. But since it's not quite time for me to start decorating for fall, I went ahead and just made them the way I'm going to do them all year round, and the way I'll be displaying them and using them all year round in my home. And if you follow me on Instagram, once I do decide to start decorating for fall, I am going to add some pictures of how it looks when I do add my pumpkins into all these decor pieces that I'm making today as well. And there's a link down below if you want to go ahead and follow me on Instagram so you won't miss out on those pictures. So just go ahead and do this to both long sides of your tray. And then on the sides where the handle part or the opening is at, what I did was just kind of figure out how many of the wood pieces I can put on both sides before I put the center pieces where the opening is at. And you'll see how I do that as well, because I'm going to lay those the opposite way. But if you didn't want to do that, you can also add some jute twine around that area as well, and it would look absolutely adorable that way too. But I wanted to go ahead and use all these little wood pieces on this tray, so that's why I decided to go ahead and just cross them this opposite way and just put 1 to 2, depending on how many fit right where the opening is at. So I just played with the ones I had and kind of figured out which ones fit in here and how many fit in here. And this one as well, if you wanted it less rustic and more farmhouse, you can whitewash these branches once you're done adding them onto your tray, and that would look absolutely adorable as well. Let me know in the comments below how you're going to display all these and which one's your favorite. So there you have it. Now just go ahead and flip it over and do the same thing to the opposite side. And as you can see, all I used was 1 bag of these wood pieces as well and 1 tray. So basically you can make this DIY for $2 and it's absolutely adorable. And there you have it. Just go ahead and allow that to completely dry before you start adding any of your decor pieces inside of it. So here I am just adding a little piece of foam. I just broke it into halves, and then I'm just gluing one on either end. And then I'm going to get some moss that I have a bag here of mixed moss, the different colors of just different projects that I've used moss from. And then I'm just going to insert it into my tray just to cover everything up. And then I'm going to glue and add some of my succulents that I have. I have a whole bunch of different succulents. I absolutely love decorating with them. I think they're just absolutely beautiful, and you can add them in any kind of decor piece when you ever need that little pop of color, that pop of green. So I have quite a few of them. So I decided to go ahead and just use as many as I like into this tray, because I know that's the way I'll be displaying it when it's not holiday time. So this is the way mine turned out. So what do you guys think? Don't forget to like and subscribe this video, and also if you did enjoy this tutorial, don't forget to share it as well. So until next time, you guys stay blessed. Bye.